We interrupt what you're watching right now to bring you this exciting story.
It's the dust and it's the glory. 100 stripes, 100 stories. It's the pledge of allegiance on the 4th of July. It's some handwritten letters from home. It's some sleepless nights alone. It's his newborn baby he left with his wife. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down, he's alive. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. Hey. From the fields of Indiana to the swamps of Louisiana to the golden coast of California. Uncle Sam's the only family he's got. His purple heartbeat won't stop. And his 18th birthday was the day he was born. It's the red, white, and blue. Lay down, here's alive. It's the red, white, and blue. 40 stars and stripes. It's the red, white, and blue. Stand on the front line. It's the red, white, and blue. Pay the ultimate price. Oh. He was a man when he was born. His family is proud but torn. But if you knew him, you would understand. He was raised on a boot parade just to see the flags to wave. And then he came home with all he wanted. It's Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. All these stars and stripes. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Stand on this red line. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. To pay the ultimate price. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. Lay down his life. Mr. Red, White, and Blue. 40 stars and stripes. March in line. March in line. Hey. Hey.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good afternoon, Erie County. Here we are on a Sunday afternoon, Sunday matinee. We got to kind of keep in step with what we're doing. It's kind of one of those lucky days outside. So, yeah, let's all come in. You know, I hope you already got your popcorn made up because it's a matinee. You got to have that, and maybe an adult beverage or beer or something. We're all adults over 21 here, so we do that. Hi, Tina. Thanks for coming in. We appreciate that. Saying hi. You know, the channels are lighting up, which is nice. It's like that moment where we do the intro, we give it a minute. That's why we play a long intro to get everybody signed in and get online, find us, boots on the ground. And then, sitting there with all zeros on all the channels. It's like, come on, come on, come on, come on. All of a sudden, boop, Facebook comes alive. Boop, YouTube comes alive. So if you're on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate that. That helps us with our traction. We cleaned up our YouTube channel the other night. Put a new photograph up, changed the header. It kind of like had some old information on there, and Constantine brought to my attention. So ask everyone to share. Just got a text from the boss lady. Make sure you share that. We got to get this message out. Brenda and I are looking at some other channels prior to the show. We don't want to make any changes right before the show, but that's what we're trying to do. That's why we did the upgrade. Had some great people donate some money. We appreciate that, and that gets us a better traction and more places to go and share. Man, do we have a lot of things to talk about? With this administration and all the silent riot. We're gonna dive into that here in a little bit. We got some great videos. I'm still trying to wrap my head around those two words put together, silent and riot. I don't know. I mean, they're not silent, but they are a riot. And when they're screaming profanities and all kinds of crazy sex, weird stuff. There were some videos. This lady just every word out of her mouth had some weird sexual implication when she was talking to a Trump supporter. And what do we do? And we do that locally. The Democrats do that locally. So it must be in their playbook. So they must have a secret squirrel meeting and they have a playbook and they're like, here, scream profanities, go dirty, make it sexual. Because then when you do that, that really gains our attention and we just shut you off and say goodbye, have a nice day. We do that. We have the local people doing that. And you know what? I just can't believe that these people hold the positions that they do. Because if they act, I think the reasonable Democrats that are still left, I know there is. I got a good friend of mine. I'm not going to mention her name. She's like, Brian, the Democrats aren't all bad. And I get that. But the problem is you're guilty by association. And when it's okay, and you guys are justifying burning Teslas and driving down the road in your vehicle and threatening somebody in a Tesla. There's a video floating around. It appears to be a firearm. It's hard to see it, but it does look like one. But fortunately, the Tesla had cameras on the side. Got a great picture of the driver. Got a great picture of him, having something and pointing at the vehicle. And of course, that state requires license plates, so they got a good license plate. And this is ridiculous. I mean, they're the ones that are creating the violence. They're the ones that are burning and Teslas and attacking the Tesla buildings. What are you doing? All you're proving is you hate other Democrats because the majority of people who own Teslas are Democrats. So you're only hurting yourself and you're making Tesla more money. It's just like when the Democrats come in the show to sneak around and see what I'm doing and making sure what I'm talking about. I appreciate that because every time I get a click, it helps my stats, helps me make more money, helps pay my royalties to the folks of the music we use. And I have no problem with that. So Willie, thanks for coming in. Appreciate that. Who else we got in here? We got Willie Evans in here. We got Kim. We got Tina. YouTube, I can't see who's on YouTube. It doesn't tell me who, but until you type in, then I can see who it is. But yeah, so really, just be careful. We had an incident here at the house, and it was caught on video. We've got the vehicle, so if they come back again, we will make it official. That's why I keep trying to tell people: make sure you have a Ring camera, get some security cameras. They're very inexpensive, easy to install, and we got the guy. They were stopped in front of the house. They were taking pictures of I have a 12-foot skeleton out there from Halloween, but he's got a Trump shirt on it. And then when Brenda ran out, they flipped her off and drove away. I mean, that's real brave. I mean, you want to be a terrorist, but you want to take pictures of my house. Why do that? Just go on Google and take a picture. My address is on the everyone's address is out on the internet. I have signs in the window. Smile, you're on camera. And if you don't think you're not, you are. Hey, Mark, what's going on? So yeah, everyone's coming in here. I appreciate that on a Sunday afternoon, kind of dreary day. Facebook is winning. Nobody on X yet. That's that they kind of come in a little bit later. That's fine. We get that. So yeah, we Tim Walls. Tim Walls gives us so much content and videos to go through. We can't play them all. We would literally have to dedicate a 2-hour show, no calls, nothing, to the Tim Walls comedy act and comedy hour, because he's just that dumb. And now he wants to kick our asses. Listen, buddy, you are guilty of stolen valor. Stolen valor. They took your credentials away that you stole. So yeah, and now you're threatening us to kick our asses? Bring it on. I got no problem with it. We're the same age. Come on, Timmy. Let's do this. And we got some very funny videos of his challenge coming up here real soon. Brenda, you want to go ahead and play our first Tim Wall couple videos?
I think I could kick most of their ass. I do think that if they want to do it. I know I can outrun them, but I don't know if we're going to fall into that place where we want to. Okay, we challenge you to a WWE fight here type of thing.
Tim Walls is now saying about Trump supporters, and forgive me, I'm just reading a quote from Tim Walls. I think I could kick most of their ass.
Oh boy, he'd be in trouble.
Is there any way to know?
Well, he's a loser. The guy's a loser.
I think I scare them a little bit why they spend so much time on this. No, I'm serious, because I can fix a truck. They know I'm not bullshitting on this.
Could you perform one more public service by choke slamming Tim Walls, possibly, at some point? The governor of Minnesota saying that, maybe he could defeat Republicans in a WWE style environment, and
he didn't say it that he didn't say it that politely.
This is true. I'm sanitizing it.
Yeah.
I'm sanitizing it a little bit. Maybe a tombstone for Governor Walls might adjust his attitude a little bit. I think it would be great for charity. Bring us together, Republicans, Democrats. Why not? Let's do it.
Yeah. I do too. Obviously my first reaction when I saw what he said is like, you gotta be kidding me, man. Not Tim Walls is saying that. And then I thought to myself, wait a second. This could be really cool. We could have a challenge, a charity wrestling match, have some fun, and the proceeds would go to a good cause. We would split the gate 50-50 between my chosen organization and between his chosen organization. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise. I was a consummate professional. Ask anybody that I worked with. I make it look good, but I didn't hurt people. I pride myself on that. I'm willing to agree to a stipulation. If I have to wrestle with one hand tied behind my back or wear a blindfold or whatever, I'll do anything to get him in the ring. And what he's going to find is it's actually fun. And I think afterwards we could be friends. We disagree on politics, but I think that we could be friends and we'd have newfound respect for each other.
So now, I think that Brendan, his name's Kane, right? That he was a professional wrestler and his name was Kane. And
Correct.
You're right. So here's a professional guy that's done this for years, retired. Now he's a mayor. Seems like a very smart guy. He could put a sentence together and he's like, listen, I'll do it blindfolded with one hand tied behind my back. He goes, I promise I won't hurt him. This guy is huge. We got another interview up of him later, of him sitting in a chair. You don't realize how big these guys really are. So there's, Tampon Timmy, running his mouth. Oh, kick their ass, to Hairspray Newsome. Those two, it's like almost Dumber and Dumber. I mean, they make Dumber and Dumber look smarter and smarter. And these are the people that are going to be running for president. Newsom's going to run. You watch, he'll run for president. There'll be a handful of them, of course. They'll have a primary. Timmy's already talked about it. They've got AOC And Bernie Sanders, the guy that hates millionaires, that is a millionaire, that's out there saying that the rich need to pay their fair share of taxes. Well, Bernie, why don't you lead by example, considering you've done nothing in your life and you got AOC doing the only thing she's really done is been a bartender. So, you got they're so hypocritical. The fact that they're out there, screaming and, they're out there doing the double fist pumps and they're up there with their fists in the air. Looks like they're saying hello to the Gestapo. But boy, I tell you what, they sure have a lot of photographs of Elon Musk out there, doing the whole heart thing. But Tim Walz does it; it's fine. AOC does it; it's fine. All these lefts people do it, and it's fine. But the minute we do it, oh look! People wake up and smell the coffee because we have to really pay attention. They always say elections have consequences. And you are absolutely positively correct. Now we're going to do this. I'm going to put this up here real quick. We got some really, really, really important sample ballots questions. Pay attention to these things because people, when you get in there to vote, they're worded very, very confusing sometimes. I remember having a meeting with a bunch of people. We were going over the questions like, oh my God, what are they saying here? They won't just say, do you like this person? Yes or no. Now, these have been broken down to, I always say, people talk, not lawyer talk. So this is an example, and we don't need any more liberal judges sitting at the bench legislating from the bench. And isn't it funny that, and I'm not laughing, of course, the judge has been just giving Trump a hard time. He caught another one of Trump's cases. Isn't that convenient that the same judge keeps getting the cases for Donald Trump? And of course, he's going to, whatever Donald Trump says, he's going to vote against it. So, this will be recorded. It's on all the channels. Take a screenshot, take a picture, put it on your phone. So when you go to vote, you can pull your phone out and refresh your memory. Because I'm telling you, elections are far away. We'll talk about it. We're going to talk about it. And we're going to keep talking about it because we have to get this right. So there it is. That's been through the Republican Party. This is what they're saying. So we're just here kind of like spreading the love. So take a screenshot of it. It'll be on there. I have it on my Facebook account. I have it on a TikTok account with some cool music. So, that way it's just being repeated and repeated and repeated until we get it right. So there you go. Brenda, video, please.
Tyrus and I are going to start a new business. I'm in. So if you're one of those, yet. Yeah, well, that's okay. If you're one of those celebrities who threatened to leave the country if Donald Trump became president, let me introduce you to two wrestlers and a truck. We specialize in international celebrity relocation. Provide a complete package of services, including real estate professionals who would be thrilled to sell your domestic holdings. Trump's in, you're out. Give us a call. We'll help you pack.
Yeah, I mean, Kane is making a really good stance on this, and he's having fun at it. But again, when the Republicans get mad at an entity, what do? We just don't buy their product. We literally tanked Bud Light. We tanked their stocks. They lost money. They are now revisiting their philosophies on who they're backing. My understanding, I read an article, I don't know how much validity is to it, but it was an issue of they're saying, well, we always kind of back the LGBTQ parades and Pride Month and all that stuff. The article I read, they're backing out because it cost them too much money. Okay, fine. Peaceful protest, literally a peaceful protest. But what do the Democrats do? They get their marching orders in an email. We got the guy who founded the whole silent riot, which I don't know. Maybe someone smarter than me can figure it out what the hell that means. But I want you guys to do a little bit of homework. I want you to scour the depths of the internet and figure out what that really means. Because there's a second meaning to what they're saying. And if you're not really paying attention, it's going to slip right by us, and you will be shocked. I'm not really shocked what it really means. But again, the Democrats being Democrats, we have to go burn Teslas. We have to, run our four-wheelers in the side of Teslas. We have to scratch swastikas on the side of Teslas, which is disgusting. And we have to burn Tesla dealerships. 100% American-made vehicles. You're costing people to work overtime. You big meanies. Now they have to make more Teslas to replace the Teslas that you've burned and destroyed. And I bet you $5 that they have most of these vehicles that are a bit attacked. And once they're on fire, they don't ever bring them back. They're totaled out. So we get that. So yeah, Brenda, this is the next video is the founder of this great peaceful type of deal.
Tomorrow, the Silent Riot launches, March 22nd. And this first wave, it is the most important.
Okay, first wave, the most important. Gotcha.
If you've been waiting for the moment, this is the moment. The system.
This is the moment. All right.
Thrives when we stay quiet. But starting tomorrow, we get loud in our silence.
Tomorrow, we get loud in our silence. I like it. I like it.
If you record today, you're going to record your 10-second video. And I want you to say this. We will not be silenced.
10-second video. We will not be silent.
The Silent Riot has begun.
The Silent
Again,
Riot
being told what to do
has begun. Love it.
Momentum starts with you. We need every voice in this movement.
We will not be silenced. The Silence Riot has begun. I don't even know what this is about.
A flood of voices that cannot be ignored. This isn't just a launch, y'all. It's the spark.
I'm not really feeling like the spark. I don't know what, I don't know. You cannot silence us. Our word. I can't.
Oh, because it makes absolutely no sense. I don't know. I can't rewrap my head around what the point is. But, they sat around and it's some think tank, anti-American kind of meeting and like, okay, we need something catchy that the rank and file will catch on. Keep it simple because we can't make too many words because they'll never follow it. And you don't want it too deep because they won't get it. So they're basically out there making these little TikTok videos and they're whatever this guy has said, that's what they're doing. So now this next video, absolutely, Brenda played it for me and I had a tear coming into my eye because I don't know if this is real or a spoof, but if it's real, I don't even know that we need to get more popcorn. I think we're gonna have to go to Sam's Club and order another pallet of popcorn because this stuff is just absolutely hilarious. Play the nose ring lady, please.
We will not be silenced. The silent riot has begun. We reject fear, noise, and chaos. The system thrives on our silence, so we use it as our weapon. We take small, consistent steps that disrupt their control. And we amplify the voices they try to ignore. The movement works because it isn't loud. It's smart. It's collective. And once people wake up, they can't control the silence.
We will not be silent. The silent riot has begun.
We will not be silent. The silent riot has begun. Surprise, surprise.
We will not be silenced. The silent riot has begun.
We will not be silent. The silent riot has begun.
The silent riot has begun. We will not be silent ever again.
We will not be silenced. The silent riot has begun.
Then why are you still talking? At all. Like, I've never seen a quiet Democrat. We just don't listen anymore.
Right. And that's the point. You guys have been making so much noise and so much fodder. We just turned you out. It's just like when you're a parent and you have a little child and they're making a lot of noise, you have a tendency to just kind of turn it out unless it's like blood curdling crashing. Then you pay, hey Glenda, then you pay attention. But that's all they do. They Black Lives Matter, they burned, they made all this noise and there's all this ruckus. And everything was Trump, 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 Trump. They're still Trump, 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 Trump. That's all Trump derangement syndrome. I had a lady on social media. Dan Laughlin had put a post up about some legislation about cooperating with ICE, and I was like, outstanding. She's like, because of Shank and all your followers, we now belong to Russia. I'm like, lady, you give me way too much credit that I have that much clout to sway the rest of the country to buy into Russia's baloney. But again, it's irrelevant. I mean, absolutely, fact has proven that Shifty Shift was all a ploy. It was all bullshit. It was all fabricated. $32 million worth of blah, 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 Russia, Russia, Trump, Russia, Russia, Trump. And they threw it out. They said, this is ridiculous. And now they're coming after these people that came up with all this bullshit. And they should have to pay it back. That's $32 million. You know how many veterans I could feed and clothe with $32 million? I could do a lot. But we had to make this anti-Trump, Trump, 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 Trump thing. And that's all they've got. That's all they have. They're still, it's like Trump derangement syndrome. So I had to change this lady to Shank derangement syndrome because she's like, because of Brian Shank and all his followers. Okay, my followers, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not Glenn Beck. I'm not Rush Limbaugh. Thank you. I wish I was, because when I'm rich and famous and I have a gold microphone, I'm not going to forget my friends. I'll make sure that, I have a Tesla bus made and we'll go travel the countryside on tour. But yeah, we'll get there, hopefully. But yeah, Brendan, you got another video? This is the other founder of
Okay, this method works. Silent Riot has finally been launched. It's on everybody's FYP. The hashtags are trending. Keep pushing, share, like. Anybody that you come across, make sure that you share them, comment on it. We want to make sure that this is taking over the system and everybody's like, what is going on? What is this Silent Riot? And remember, the Silent Riot is the method. We will not be silenced is the message. What we are trying to do is gather a collective of voices on a digital platform and then send it out at the same time, because that's when we become powerful. That's when things can be seen and heard, because it's going to show up on other people's feeds when they have no idea what's going on. Our next step is to create a video that we're going to push towards mainstream media because of the lack of coverage that's happening with all the in live protests going on with veterans and all the other things that are going on. So we are going to be pushing that this week. If you haven't posted your video, go ahead and do it now. It's simple, it's easy. Go to www.silentriot.org. Call to action. You can see everything that's going on. Give us a follow and make sure you share this message. You guys are amazing.
They really think that they're like Dr. Mandela changing the world by their little hashtag thing that means absolutely nothing. And Brenda, I just sent you a text. That's that conversation about the lady. And if you when you get caught up, just post that up there. We'll play with that a little bit later. So you got some stuff to put up. Yeah, this is from 1986, known as the Silent Riot, occurred between March and May in various locations around the state. There you go. Now, finish reading it out. I'll sit back and I'll get a drink. But this is, I truly think this is where they stole it from. Go ahead, read it. I'm going to sit back, have a drink. Yeah, from Wikipedia. So it's not like, Brian just typed this out. Yeah. I don't know if they're probably actually smart enough because, a lot of these people, they go to college, they go to these very liberal colleges, and it's probably been discussed about. And so they said back, okay, boys and girls, we need a new hate thing. So let's do this. Let's do the silent riot. And here is where it comes from. Now, where in any of this that we just read about is peaceful, but it's been driven from a nasty issue back from 1986. Yeah, the silent riot. There it is. And again, why do you think these people have been pushing to erase history? Because when you don't learn your history, you're bound to repeat it. And so Brendan, she looked at all that up, and I'm like, well, that makes sense because they're trying to hook it into something that was something, and of course, it's not peaceful. And it's funny. There was a picture, and it was taken back in the '60s. It was at Kent State, and it's a very very epic photograph. And I wish I would have got it. It was I don't know, a college person that we would call a hippie, putting a flower in the end of a M1 Garand, because the military was there, and that was a peaceful protest. Unfortunately, it got out of hand. Of course, the military did kind of screw up. They really shouldn't have been using live ammunition. I get that. But then the next picture was them all in black, faces covered, arms locked together, burning a Tesla. Now, I get it that they tried to do a peaceful something or another, but they end up burning everything down. I mean, literally, they tried to burn everything down. Kate, I can't hear you. Well, everybody else can hear me, so it's got to be you. Turn your volume up. I mean, everybody can hear me because they're talking to me, so I'm assuming. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I am not part of the Democrat Party. I used to be a Democrat, and they went way too left for me, just like a lot of people have done. The numbers are showing. Look what they're doing in New Jersey. Look what we did in Pennsylvania. Those numbers are shifting because they have become so radicalized. People don't want. It was me. It's okay, Kate. It's all right because I know everybody else has been here for 31 minutes and no one said anything. Usually I get like 15 text messages. Can't hear you, can't hear you, can't hear you, can hear you. So welcome aboard, Kate. I hope your mom's doing better. But yeah, so Google this stuff up. It's just not me. It's there. But we just present it to you to do your research and steer you in the right direction. That this is why they're doing it. They are the party of hate. They always have been, except back in the 60s. There was some crazy stuff that went on in the 60s. I was just a wee little lad at the time. But there was violence, there was some stuff like that, but nothing like today where it's funny because if you look at some of these videos from the protest, it actually is the people that were probably involved in the 60s. Now they're old enough and should know better, but they're retired or they have the time. But then you look at the people that are actually doing the violence against Teslas, it's a huge spread. Yes, Kim, you are live.
Well, happy Sunday, Brian and Brenda.
Yeah, thanks for calling in. What's going on?
Well, I wanted to remind everybody of Nancy's wonderful event coming up I think it's next weekend, isn't it? Pretty soon.
I'm going to pull the
The
ad
7th?
up while we're speaking.
Yeah. I encourage everybody to go to that. You're going to learn a whole lot about the Constitution and the rights that we're losing right now under our noses. And Tony Shoup will be there. I love that woman. Last time Brian and myself got to go watch her at Penn State Barron, and it shows how the Democrats cheat in elections. As a matter of fact, I heard something on Fox today that Trump has pulled some files stuff, and it shows how that he actually was cheated out of the last election.
Well, we get that. Yeah, we have the poster up here, A Pathway to Honest Elections, Northwest Region. The keynote speaker is Dr. Doug Frank. And of course, that is April 7th, 6 p.m. at the American Legion Post, 285 120 West 4th Street, Waterford, PA, 16441 for your GPSs. Tony will be there with Audit the Video, audio, Audit the Vote. Joshua Prince will be there. Tony had Joshua on her podcast. So that's available. If you go to her Facebook page, please follow her. She gets some really great guests on there, and she had Joshua. Joshua will be here at this event, and you'll be able to talk to him.
And I believe Maria Batista is coming as well. I talked to her the other day, and she's going to try and make it as well. Right. And she's just a great girl. She did a lot of legwork here when Brian and I were both running for office. Just the sweetest person in the world. And I wish everybody could just meet her. I'll tell you what, she really did a lot of hard work the last time. She kind of got robbed of that one. Poor girl got hit by a car just putting out a yard sign. And, me and Brian just love her to death.
Yeah, we helped her out. We were her boots on the ground here when she wanted to come to Erie. We had to she wanted to do some photos, and the poor thing was in a sling doing photos for Facebook and website.
The day before the election.
I know.
So, there'll be some great people at that one. I also want to remind people, I think Mob is going to be at Doc Holliday's Friday night. So, that they are a great supporter of Brian and I. So, anybody who's not doing anything Friday night, come out and see Mob, with Joe Glassman. He's a great Republican, a patriot. He supports all of us. So I want to remind everybody of that as well. And anybody, we're going to be getting ready to go do door knocking pretty soon. So anybody that's interested in door knocking, all the candidates, we're all working together to get out the vote. I'm gonna harp on this as many times as possible, and as many times as Brian and Brenda let me. This is not a big flashy election, guys, but these are the ones that are going to affect your pocketbook. Okay, these are the ones where these people are making ordinances that affect you the most. So we got to encourage people to come out and vote. This is the election where Brian got robbed by 400 votes. So, every single vote is going to count.
Oh, I totally agree with you. We got they've got some great Republicans. I've been flashing their advertisements up. I've got the list of a quick reference list of all the main ones that we're really focusing on. And it's not like we're not focusing on the people like, Mark up there in Summit. We are pushing, but this is a small little quick reference for the county and the city. They're great guys up there, but they didn't make the list here. I didn't do the list. They sent it to me. So it's just a quick reference list. You can take a screenshot of it. And that way you can just go, whoa, yeah. Cause people forget when they hit that. I do it. I have notes on my phone. I'll take we'll get, when the ballots come out, a sample ballot, we'll fill them out on like my, how I feel they should go. You vote what you want, but here's my quick reference. And that way we'll post them. And that way you get the names right. Because especially with the 3 questions, that is just hugely important. But yeah, so I got them up there again. I'll flash them up a couple times because what is the average person has to see something 5 times to remember it? Me, it's 7 because I'm 62.
Right. And I always count on you or Brenda to call me, Mommy, Kim, did you remember are you awake?
Yeah,
You
you're right.
know, are you on your way? So we're also going to be looking people to be poll greeters, that way you can say, thank you for coming out to vote today. And you can hand them a piece of paper. These are our suggested people,
Right.
Just to greet them. We are going to be in such need of those people as well, so, we're looking for all kinds of help, guys. So, anybody that's willing to come out and help, we would so much appreciate it. We will be having pop-ups, all spring and summer, to get the vote out. So anybody that's willing to help, just let myself or Brian or Brenda or one of the candidates know, we would appreciate so very, very much, because like I said, I keep saying it, we took back our country, we took back our state. Now we got to take back our counties and we have to take back our cities because I'm telling you what, they're good. They've been trying and they've been doing it, voting some crazy stuff in. And once again, people are confused on this. Erie is not a sanctuary city. Okay. I want to make sure that's very clear to everybody. They wrote a bill and they use the word sanctuary wrong. They say we're a sanctuary city for the LGBTQ, and we're not even that. It was an open letter to the chief of police asking that anybody of the LGBT community, if they do a crime, to be processed the same as anybody else. So it was just a political word salad.
Yeah, well, that's what the Democrats do. And matter of fact, they made they made an arrest. ICE was actually here and actually made an arrest from a really not nice guy that I'm going to try to clean this up and be as nice as I can for the show. He likes little kids, and he was propositioning them into their cars. They're under the age of 13. But there's Joe. Oh no, we don't have any illegals here. Oh no, we don't have any criminals here. Bullshit. It's a bold-faced lie. There it is in black and white. It's been all over social media, and it's not a reflection against Erie Police Department or PSP because, Erie PD's got their hands full. Every time we turn around, we have a dead body over here. We have a shooting over there.
Right.
We got a motor vehicle accident there. So you know what? Let ICE do their jobs. And that's what this administration and this city council is scared to death of, that these guys are going to come into Erie and they're going to start hauling people out of here. Good.
Well,
Stop by. I'll buy you lunch.
Right. And I think in that article, Brian, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was that the Erie City Police did cooperate with Border Control on that particular case. And I could be wrong. If I am, I apologize, guys and girls. But I think in that particular case, it was a cooperative effort.
Well, right, because it's a slippery slope for these politicians because they have to bow to the left, but they also have to make sure the city's safe. And that's one thing I will say about Mayor Joe is he does support his police. He does. He always appears to get them what they want. He doesn't seem to fight them on the monies, but it's the ultra liberal whack jobs on city council that are defunding. And you got Chucky Nelson out there, always talking about they don't need enough money, they have too much money, we don't need. Really, you want to be the controller? You've been a councilman, but you don't want to support the police. Gee, Chuck, I wonder why you didn't get their endorsement for controller, because you've been a crappy city councilman. And
Absolutely.
I don't know if you can see your screen or not, but I got a nice patriot out of the city of Erie made up some really nice memes.
No, I'm not looking at it now, but yeah, you did send me those. I was rolling. It just made my whole day. But and exactly. And our police, they want those people out of here as well because they make their job so much more difficult.
Absolutely.
And we want to give our police the tools they need to make our city and our streets safer for everybody.
Yeah.
And I applaud them for the hard work that they always do. These police do things that we don't even see. Right. They're out there working their asses off 24 hours a day. And every time I see their cars go flying by with their lights on, I say a prayer because it's not just them going out on that call, it's their entire family going out on that call.
Yeah, I had Horton up there because you know what? here's what Erie does. We just keep recycling the same people. Horton was on county council, now has termed out. So now he wants to come over to city council. And again, we need fresh people with fresh ideas. That's not part of the administration, not part of the swamp, not part of the same old good old boy. Hey, you take care of my charity. And that's why they hate Brenton Davis. That's what we came after them so hard about the nepotism. And hey, buddy, you give me $200,000, I'll sign off on yours. And so then you got Dr. Perry Wood trying to be, and he's going to take, what is that, like a $30,000+ a year cut in pay to come do this job. So that tells you it's not about the job, it's about the power. The Democrats want a Democrat back in charge of the county, which, you know what, I've said it once, I said it before, I said it 1,000 times. What has Perry done for Erie County when he had a position other than handing out our tax dollars to nonprofits? More nonprofits. And, of course he's Mr. Popular. Of course he's got a great social media. Of course he's got people, oohing and ahhing when he walks in the room. Well, yeah, considering he hands them checks, sure, you'd be my friend too. But you know what?
Right.
Yeah, no. Yeah, there's
You ain't going to see him though at 4:00 in the morning shoveling snow for anybody. You're not going to see him going out and getting coffee for people.
No.
You're not going to see him actually doing physical work. You're not going to see him out there trimming trees with the prisoners from the prison.
And fixing the Harbor Creek resident, veteran, had his handicap ramp crushed by the weather. The snow came off his roof, crushed it. The guy reached out to me. I said, let me make some calls. Brenton had a work crew out there the next day. So up on the screen, Brenda, I had sent it to her, is about the this person that gives me way too much. The only reason happening in these idiots Republicans voted in, and they did not win by a large majority. It doesn't matter. We won. We are now owned by Russia. So thank you, Brian Shank, and your followers. God help you all, so-called Christians. Go read the Bible. Of course, here's my response. Diana, my followers, ? You give me way too much credit, but thanks anyway. And I do enjoy living inside your head for free. # boots on the ground, District 5.
I think I thought that I was just laughing so hard about that. Well, we are a cult, so you must be our cult leader, and I'm glad that you give them a safe place to voice their concerns.
Oh yeah. Cause we're going to act like Chuck Nelson, and his snarky little, they just need a safe place to go. And speaking of which, Wednesday night, I want everybody to go down to City Hall. Let's go at 6:00 because they're having their second read for that ghost ban legislation, which is it's a pile of bunky. Gunners of America, they're aware of it. Dr. Fennell is trying to come up for this presentation and speak there. And man, when Dr. Fennell speaks, trust me, he knows how to speak. So they reached out to me and said, hey, can you get some people there? I said, well, sure. So I put an event page up. It's private. I had it on our group chat. So now, the cat's out of the bag. Wednesday, be there about 6:00. And, if you have a red shirt, make sure, hashtag, red hats, not red, white hoods, wear your little red hats. Let's show them that, there's more than 3 people that actually care about the city. Cause I watched their city council meetings and there's like 4 people there. Freda Teffer's always there. And,
she has no life.
Yeah. Liz Allen's always there. Yeah.
The point is breaking our Second Amendment to bear arms. Okay. Do we want ghost guns? No. But how many illegal guns are there in the city already? Okay. And how would they even enforce this? Are they going to go after everyone who owns a 3D printer?
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I literally just, only thing I know about ghost guns, but I read. I don't own one. I've never utilized one. I've shot piles of weapons, but never the evil, scary ghost gun. I've always stayed with the scary assault rifles, which is bullshit.
Right.
And it's very simple. It's in the Constitution. Shall not be infringed.
Correct.
When Dan Laughlin was running, he had a great brochure. I have a couple of them. As of last year, they had 53 pieces of legislation on the state level to chip away at your Second Amendment rights. And that's where you have to make a stand. You have to make a stand. If you don't believe in the ghost gun thing, I get it. That's fine. That's your prerogative. But the point is the essence of what they're doing. And these knuckleheads in Erie, they weren't even smart enough to write this thing themselves. They copied it out of Philadelphia. Like, oh, look at the libs and Democrat. We can do that too in Philadelphia. So it's not even their original thought. If they would have actually came up with their own idea, I would say, well, all right, bravo, good job, guys. Good shot. All you're doing is copycatting. Typical Democrats don't have original thoughts. They just play out of the Democrat playbook.
Right. And the whole point is, if we let this go through, guys and girls, okay, what else are they going to try and write? What ordinances are they going to try and write that takes away more of our constitutional rights?
Oh, it'll pass.
We have to make a stand at some point.
Yeah, it's going to pass. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to pass. Because it's only, there's some reasonable Democrats on there, but they're not going to push back. It's election time. There's a lot of them up for re-election. They're not going to make any waves. Dr. Tyler Titus was, their timing was pretty good because they know that city council is not going to push back. Nobody on city council is going to push back because most of them are up for re-election and they don't want any heat. Well, they're going to get some heat because now the Gun Owners of America, which is a huge organization, and Dr. Fennell, I was talking to him on the phone the other day. He called me and he goes, "Hey, Brian, I need your help. What do you need, Doc? We got you covered." And he's like, I want to tell you something. When I took over Gun Owners of America, Pennsylvania, you were my first endorsement. He brought me on his show. He gave me a written endorsement, Gun Owners of America, when I ran for sheriff. And that's what pissed off the Democrats, is that I had endorsements from the FOP and I had, Gun Owners of America. There was
the NRA. I think you had.
I didn't have an NRA endorsement, but because those are really hard to get. They only go with the big dogs, big races.
Right.
Firearm Owners Against Crime. Kim and his gang, they endorsed me, and that's where they're like, holy shit. And I was on a national talk show with these guys and talking about the Constitution and then constitutional sheriffs. That's why they put a beat down on me, because they're like, oh shit, we can't have this guy out there. All
right. So instead, we got a guy who sits in his office all day with his dog.
Well,
so I encourage everybody to come out. Like I said, we have to make our presence known. Let them know we're not going to put up with this. It's going to get thrown out in court anyhow. Speaking of which, like I said, and I did see, all the Democrats got to be celebrity bartender, for Gay Pride Day. So good for them.
I didn't get asked.
Whatever. But I said, these are the types of things we have to let other voters know about. So anybody that's willing to work for any of the candidates, we're going to work as a big team. We have a very good chance this time to turn the city red. And at that, I'm going to let you guys go. Thanks for taking my call, Brian.
All right,
Brenda, I appreciate you guys so much. And you guys all have a happy Sunday.
All right, Shank out. Oh. All right,
understand how you can be Christian and still support Trump. I just see him, he's a liar, he cheats, he supports dictators like Putin, Kim Jong-un.
Are you a Christian?
Yeah. Okay. I just think that as a Christian, a person should try to always do the right thing.
Which one is closer to biblical principles, the Democrat platform or the Republican platform?
I think Democrats do a better job representing godly values.
Hold on.
Wait, hold on.
The Democrats do a better job representing godly values? Let me ask you, outside of their convention in Chicago, they had an abortion truck?
Yeah.
Is that a godly value?
So neither side is perfect.
Hold on,
That's
no.
what I'm saying.
I want to make sure. Joe Biden changed Easter to the Transgender Day of Awareness. Did you know that? How's that a godly value?
Yeah,
Kamala Harris wants no restrictions on abortion in every state across the country. There are 320,000 kids that are missing and sex trafficked in this country. Borders are wide open. We have 2 wars. How is any of that stuff godly values? You asked how we could support Trump. Because you're actually not voting for Trump or Harris. You're voting for 5,000 people that will better fit your worldview.
No.
Yeah. How about that one? Yeah. Woo! Yeah, I know. I've said this before. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't agree with everything Trump does. I don't. You're just a Trumper. Well, I'd rather be a Trumper than a Harris crazy, Walls wackadoodle stolen valor guy. I mean, I don't know what to say. This guy's prancing around like I don't know what he's prancing around like, bragging about Tesla stock going down, which has actually gone up. If anybody can do a quick thing on what Tesla stocks are, I just like to just kind of like rub their nose in it. And it's like it's backfiring, people. You know. Oh, hello, Renee Newberry. Thanks for coming in. Walks in supporting my new fancy. Right. Hi, everyone. I hope you're feeling better. You know, so good. Yeah, Tina, yeah, you got great points. You know, and that's why we do the show. We do the show so the local people can have a voice. It gets put on the internet. The Democrats can't control it. TikTok is being weird though. They're not letting me go live. I don't know. Maybe some Democrat I must have hurt their safe space and reported my videos for whatever. And so I can't post anything on TikTok live. I don't care. I'll go to another channel. I don't care. Brendan and I will find another channel. TikTok's great, but I can go live. We can go live, like if I go on my phone, but I can't come live through Restream. So I think they don't like other formats coming in, and I think that's what it's about. I mean, I don't think someone would, you know, Jake hurt my feelings, you know, my followers, because it's my fault about everything. So yeah. And you got one more video, Brenda?
Malloy, the actions of multiple RPD officers under review tonight. The mayor says when Border Patrol officers called for backup on Monday evening, several city officers responded, and in the course of helping with the traffic stop, they violated the terms of Rochester's sanctuary city status. 13 Wham's Daniel Finkelstein joins us now with a breakdown of what the mayor says happened, how the police union is responding, and what happens next. Daniel, good evening.
Good evening, Matt. While helping on that traffic stop, Mayor Evans says RPD officers verbally directed the occupants to exit the vehicle and then helped handcuff him. That's where he says city police went too far. It happened early Monday evening near here, Whitney Street off Lyle Avenue on the city's west side.
The Rochester Police Department received an emergency request for backup at the scene of a traffic stop.
A request from Border Patrol officers who had stopped a van. Chief David Smith says when a police supervisor arrived, he canceled the emergency response based on what he saw.
From watching the body-worn camera footage, what is concerning to me is, despite the fact that we were called, we went lights and siren, I see in the video a total lack of urgency on the part of multiple Border Patrol officers at the scene.
Smith says Border Patrol should have initiated contact with those in the car, but instead it was RPD. The mayor says city officers acted outside their scope.
The officers on the scene were verbally directed the occupants to get out of the vehicle, and this is against our policy.
Rochester's Sanctuary City Resolution was passed in 1986 and was later reaffirmed in 2017. That and RPD's General Order 502 prohibits RPD from enforcing federal immigration law, but allows for certain levels of assistance, only to ensure the safety of those involved.
We are not to be handcuffing subjects. We are not to be doing pat frisks on subjects, and we are absolutely not going to be detaining them or putting them into our cars.
The circumstances surrounding why the van and its estimated 8 people were stopped remain unclear, but city leaders say RPD should not have helped as they did. Mayoral candidate Mary Lupian says she has seen the video, which she says shows more than 8 RPD officers threatening immigrant construction workers inside the van, at one point threatening to break the car's windows.
The only time we will ever take any type of law enforcement action is for officer safety issues or exigent circumstances.
And you wonder why I don't like New York. It's a sanctuary state. Obviously, it's a sanctuary city. And they're literally handcuffing the police to not enforce the laws that they took an oath to support the Constitution, not some whack job governor or some crazy mayor or the chief of police. Wow. This is why we are in scary times, you know, and it's funny, you know, the Democrats, you guys are a threat to democracy. This is a constitutional emergency. Really? Really? Where the local officials are telling police officers, yeah, don't only time you can help the ICE guys if they're really, I mean, really in a lot of trouble. Well, they called for backup and they got it. But then after the people sitting in their recliners, you know, that hate law enforcement, that hate the fact that we're clamping down on these illegals, and they hate the fact that we're taking out known killers and people that are here illegally. They're not here for just not because they didn't pay a traffic ticket. That's not the case. These people are criminals, and they said we're coming after the most dangerous ones first. Well, personally, the 10 million of them have crossed illegally. That's a crime. But, you know, if you like to listen to certain people up on the hill, that, you know, that's not a crime, but it is a crime. But yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, this is interesting times. If you want to do I'm going to give last call if you want to call in and discuss something when that's not a problem. You know, we're still right around barely under an hour today. That's good. I don't like to go too deep on Sundays. Keep it light. Let's talk. Let's go with things that are important because these things are changing every day. You know, and they need to be discussed. We need to make sure that we keep them on the front burner and we keep having a conversation and we figure out ways to take care of this people. And make sure that if we had a Tesla, to make sure you turn on your security system. That way we can videotape the people that are from the party of tolerance, enjoy, and love everybody, except for when you disagree with them. Just like Erie City Council. They're accommodating and they love you long time, except for when you disagree with them. And then, you know, if you wear a red hat, you know, you remember the KKK. I will talk about this every chance I get because it has to be spoken and talked about and brought to the forefront and make sure we don't forget. Because let's face it, life gets in the way sometimes and we forget. So, other than that, I think I'm going to go ahead and bring this thing in for a landing, Brenda. If you want to cue up our last our outro video, I'd appreciate it. I want to thank you all for coming out. Renee, it's nice to see you out and about. I asked your daughter how you were doing the other day. She said you're doing better. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah, Tina. Rochester needs to have all their federal funds. What a sorry leader. Well, that's the whole New York thing, you know. And now you've got Cuomo is running for mayor. They threw him out of the governorship because of shenanigans, and now he's going to run for mayor. I don't get that correlation in any way, shape, or form. But hey, you know what? Good luck. Thanks everybody. We appreciate it. Sunday afternoon. Like I said, we try to keep it not a big deal because we want you guys to enjoy whatever you're doing on Sunday. We picked 3:00 because it's kind of like mid-afternoon. Lunch is done, supper's not ready. But yeah, so thank you all for coming out. Brenda, you want to go ahead and roll it out? Yeah. Oh, while we're waiting, here. Got the new coffee cups made out too. See? Boop. You need a coffee cup, let us know. She can make anyone, and it's got the QR code on it. It's got our logo on it, but she can make any size of this cup, anything you want on it. So let her know. Of course, t-shirts, hats, whatever. You know, don't forget Wednesday night city council meeting. We'll be there about 6. I think they do their clock at 6:30. You know, wear red, something patriotic. You can't bring your gun because a lot in there.
Brian,
Got that.
just as a reminder to everybody, seeing as there's the city council meeting, you will not be having a show on Wednesday.
Right. Thank you. That's a great point. Yeah, because they'll be overlapping. The city council won't be done in an hour. If it was done in an hour, I could come home and we could get the show up and running by 8 o'clock. But it won't be on Wednesday night. So we'll have to discuss it and probably just meet you back on Sunday afternoon.
And before I do the last video, I have 2 quick videos.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah, play them up.
And the final thing I want to say here is I was actually, and I know I was late. It's funny. That is not Marine Corps time, my friends. I remember Gunny Arledge always told me, if you're 5 minutes early or 10 minutes late. I'm sure you guys have heard that phrase. Well, what does it mean when the vice president is 2 hours late? I guess I'm on time, because who the hell is going to get me in trouble, right? But here's the thing, my friends, is I left. The reason I was a little bit late is because I was in the Oval Office talking to the president. And I stood up and I said, "Sir, I know we're in the middle of something, but the Marines at Quantico are waiting on me." And he said, "Oh, I didn't realize that. You got to get out of here. You got to get out there." And I said, "Do you have a message you want me to deliver?" And the President of the United States said he wanted me to tell you two things. First of all, that he loves you. And second of all, that he's proud of you. So let me echo the President. Let me echo a grateful nation. You guys just keep on doing what you're doing. We love you. We're proud of you. And we're going to support you every single step of the way. God bless you, Marines. Semper Fidelis.
Was I upset to see a woman fall? You want my honest answer? No. I shouldn't say that, but I derived a little pleasure for watching her fall flat on her face. She deserved it. Now, it's not very chivalrous to take pleasure in watching someone hurt themselves, but I don't think she hurt herself. I think she hurt her pride. But this is symbolic of the left. A angry, unhealthy-looking white woman is calling a minority a racist for wearing a MAGA hat, and then getting violent, and then falling flat on their face. If anything could sum up the last 4 years, it's that video.
Right. The party of tolerance is tolerant as long as you agree with them. I'm going to say it once. I'm going to say it twice. I'm going to say it 1,000 times until we turn Erie County red. And then we got to focus on the Pennsylvania governor race. Shapiro has got to go. Absolutely one of the worst. I thought Wolf was bad with his illegal lockdowns. But then, Josh, remember, was the attorney general that was the muscle behind Wolf to keep us locked down and arrested people for going to church. So this is just part of the Democrat cult party trying to shred everything that we like and what has made this country great. And that's exactly what Josh has been doing in Pennsylvania. Absolutely one of the worst governors I can remember in my 61 and a half years and paying attention to it. I mean, he really, there's some things, I understand he's been really kind of focusing and drilling down on economic development. And I do agree with him on that. I do. Because if we can't bring money here, get people to work, that doesn't produce taxes. They come after us for taxes. And now that, we have a president and kind of some control to where we don't have to pay taxes on Social Security. And we don't have to pay taxes on overtime. And we don't have to pay taxes on tips. Thank you, Jesus. You know how much money that's going to put in the working men and women of this country? A lot. So you know what? This is what we're striving to do. Now we have to get rid of Josh Shapiro. I don't know. There's a couple of people kind of clamoring around on the edges, they're governor. I don't know for a fact if Doug Mastriano is. I've heard him governor. That'd be interesting. There's a couple of people I'd love to see run. That's me personally. That's just my opinion, and we'll go from there. So other than that, thanks for coming out on a Sunday afternoon. Appreciate it. Or Kim for calling in. Everybody be safe out there. Be careful. Crazies are everywhere.
Things were gone. I worked for all my life, and I had to start again with just my children and my wife. Thank my lucky stars to be living here today, 'cause the flag still stands for freedom, and they can't take that away. And I'm proud to be an American forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today. 'Cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. Sing it! God bless the USA. From the lakes of Minnesota to the hills of Tennessee, across the plains of Texas, from sea to shining sea, from Detroit down to Houston, and New York to LA, where there's pride in every American heart, and it's time we stand and say, I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the man who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the USA. Proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free, and I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me, and I gladly stand up next to you and defend her still today, 'cause there ain't no doubt I love this land. God bless the
All right, everybody, thanks for coming out. A special thank you to Brenda for keeping the show on track and making it look the way it's supposed to. And we really, really appreciate that. Here's my QR code. It'll take you to my link tree. That'll get you your voter registration and more information. Just scan it with your smartphone, take you right to link tree. If you need somebody that needs registered to vote, follow this QR code. It's right at the top. Boom, hit that link. You can change your party affiliation, register to vote, change your address. Takes you like 5 minutes, so I would highly suggest you do so. Now, on that happy note, thank you all for coming out. We appreciate it. Enjoy your Sunday. We will see you Wednesday night at the Erie City Council meeting. So please bring a flag, bring something red, and Shank